Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It's me coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. Today we're going to be catching up on some major Star Wars updates, some super juicy rumours and news, and we're just taking a small break from Skeleton Crew. If you missed my breakdown of episode 7, I recommend you go back and check that out. But today we're talking about Star Wars movies, Ahsoka Season 2, Andor, and so much more. So no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight in. We're going to begin with the big topic of the day, Ahsoka Season 2. We finally know this is official news from The Hollywood Reporter, who is going to be replacing the late Ray Stevenson as Baylan. It was his good friend and Game of Thrones legend, Rory McCann. And this tells us Baylan is going to play a significant role in the second season. They didn't just decide to throw him in for a couple of scenes. They obviously didn't want to settle for a CG version of Rey. It's a full-on recast, which is very exciting. I'm hoping Rory does the role justice. I'm sure from Lucasfilm's perspective this was always going to be a tough choice, but I think it's the perfect choice. Someone who in my opinion deserves to continue Rey's legacy. And if you think about it, the mannerisms, the delivery, I think Rory's going to do great as Baylan. To replace a wolf, Star Wars turned to the Hound. There's never going to be another Rey, but I'm so happy it's someone he knew very well, someone who's a fantastic actor, and someone who I think can bring something different to the role with his performance. And we have another amazing Ahsoka update. According to a good friend of the channel, Star Wars Sessions podcast, filming on the second season of the Dave Filoni show might start sooner than you think. It's officially slated to begin filming sometime this coming spring, but they're hearing production may have already begun or is about to begin just outside of London at Longcross Studios. I should just add the caveat it might not be principal photography, but in terms of pre-production, set design, prep, those kinds of arrangements, Lucasfilm is already getting a head start. This is absolutely amazing news, and one of the notable quotes from the podcast is this: "We're not industry people, we're just giving you the goods. Something's happening." And they repeat it again, something's happening.
Something's happening.
Whatever's going on, whatever they're doing, it's good news. What's even more fantastic, the second and final season is doing on-location filming. They're not depending on stagecraft. And it's also worth noting, guys, the filming location Longcross Studios was also recently used for Andor Season 2 as reported by Bespin Bulletin, and a few years ago, The Last Jedi. It's where they built a full-ass Millennium Falcon. So what I think we can say with some degree of confidence is that the visuals on Ahsoka Season 2 are going to be amazing. The scale is going to be so much more epic than Season 1. After Skeleton Crew, which is done in just a week's time, we have Andor in April, which is the next live-action show. But next year, the same year as the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, is Ahsoka Season 2. And you know, while I don't think they'll have any footage for Star Wars Celebration, they might have a couple of promo shots, posters, just a little taste, if they're already starting. But Lucasfilm is being very, very secretive. The show is still a while away, it makes sense. But as we eventually get closer, we'll get more general comments from the cast and crew, but maybe also some plot rumours and set photos. The speculation is always fun. And I guess one of the biggest reasons I'm so excited for Ahsoka is that it's going to connect to Dave Filoni's movie. Coupled with rumours there may be some Heir to the Empire inspiration, the implications of what takes place in Ahsoka Season 2 could be wide-ranging. And you guys probably know by now from the many videos I've made on the topic that Baylan and Shin are my favourite villains from the Disney Star Wars era. It's no contest. No contest. Dark Jedi, as we like to call them. But apparently Dave Filoni doesn't like this term. There's something else, and both characters are about to evolve. Shin is leading the bandits, and Baylan is looking to end the cycle of pain. Jedi, Sith, Empire, Rebellion. It has been suggested he's talking about the world between worlds. And I'm really keeping my fingers crossed this season leans into the fantasy elements. So far, for the current show Skeleton Crew, episode 3 has been my favourite. The musical score was amazing, the visuals were awesome, and it just got me thinking how these dark fantasy elements could be so perfect for Ahsoka Season 2. But now, my dear friends, we're gonna move on to another rumour for Andor Season 2, just 3 months to go. We've got to be very sensible in our speculation about this, but Cameron Monaghan, Cal Kestis in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor was spotted on the set of Andor Season 2. A few fans and a couple of outlets have run with this, insisting we might see Cal Kestis in Andor's second and final season. I really don't think so, guys. I just think Cameron Monaghan was visiting the set. I don't think we're going to see Cal Kestis until the final Jedi game. But also, of all shows, Andor seems like the least likely. Some fans have theorized he's not going to leave Tanalorr until after episode 6, and there's more of a chance he appears in Ahsoka season 2 than Andor season 2. But like I say, not until the release of the third and final Jedi game. So moving on, my dear friends, an update by James Mangold for his upcoming Dawn of the Jedi movie, which is going really well in terms of writing. This is the film that is going to explore the origins of the Jedi themselves, how the Order came about 25,000 years ago. However, my dear friends, if you were hoping there was any chance he was going to draw from the Legends books, the expanded universe novels by the same name, that doesn't look to be the case. In fact, the Dial of Destiny director came out with a very controversial quote amongst Star Wars fans, saying he doesn't really care about Star Wars lore. To be more precise, he posits he doesn't want to be tied down by it. Considering this is Disney canon, they don't have to follow the expanded universe. They're giving us a new version of the way the Jedi Order came about. And he goes on to say, quote, "You can't please anybody, and so to him the most important thing is a movie with feeling, something that makes his movie memorable, something that makes a positive impact on the Star Wars franchise." Some Star Wars fans, especially those who didn't like his Indiana Jones 5, are skeptical James Mangold should be making a Star Wars movie in the first place.
To be honest, meh.
And so now, guys, we look to the rumour mill. Disney might be making a Knights of the Old Republic show. This is not verifiable and it comes from Daniel Richman, a very hit and miss source, but today we're looking at wild rumours. So now that Lucasfilm has explored the High Republic, in books, in comics, in The Acolyte, they want to go back to the fan favourite Old Republic, and this time do something that is canon, notably a TV show for Disney+. I would wager for many fans this is a terrifying prospect. Considering The Acolyte, are they going to mess this up? Could they ruin fan favourite characters? However, on the bright side, Disney Star Wars does need to get out of the Skywalker mindset, and this time period in the expanded universe is massive. A ton of lore, a ton of amazing stories. So this might be a good thing. As Forbes writes, when you say Knights of the Old Republic to a long-term Star Wars fan, it's a nostalgic period that harkens back to KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2, and eventually, the Old Republic game. But there's something to be said about the possibility of a live-action show. Fans do love the cinematic trailers. Can they do it justice on Disney+? And can they get the right showrunner and cast? I would love to know your thoughts on this. And so finally, my dear friends, something which we need to approach with sensitivity and empathy. As we know, Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace, has had a very tough life. A history of very difficult, complicated mental health problems. And last year his mum gave us an update. If you guys remember when I covered that news story, she basically debunked the notion Star Wars fans were to blame for what happened to her son, for his mental health struggles. She mentioned how his diagnosis is hereditary and how Jake is still very much a Star Wars fan. The backlash to The Phantom Menace had nothing to do with his current condition. Well now, my dear friends, this was a couple of days ago. He's given his first interview in years, and luckily it's a positive update. He's still got a long road ahead of him, but he's come to terms with his diagnosis. After years of personal turmoil, there is a bit of hope. And once again he reiterates, the galaxy far, far away is still a massive part of him. And if you guys remember, he loved the Ahsoka show. He showed off his Black Series Ahsoka Tano figure. So, Lloyd says he's feeling, quote, pretty good. He's still receiving care from a different treatment centre, but can come and go as he pleases. He says this, "I'm feeling really good. Considering these past 20 years that have come to an end, I can now accept taking on continued treatment and therapy and my meds. Everyone's been very supportive." But looking ahead, Jake says he's very excited to celebrate May the 4th Star Wars Day. This year he says he's celebrating with his mum, and they're both going to be wearing Star Wars t-shirts. This man deserves the best. He's had such a rough life. As a prequels fan, as a huge fan of Anakin and The Phantom Menace, it's heartbreaking what he's been through. Finally, a semblance of positive news.